Let's be honest for a second. Have you ever been deep in a scroll, looked up, and had that weird feeling of, who am I even looking at? In this world where we're always online, it feels like we're all dealing with this new kind of identity crisis. It's the real you versus the you that you perform online. So today, we're going to take a hard look in that digital mirror and see what it's actually doing to our sense of self.
I mean, really think about that for a second. Your profile, the pictures you post, that whole vibe you put out there. How much of that is the genuine, authentic you? And how much is, a carefully crafted performance for an audience? The answer's probably a little complicated for most of us. And this really is the heart of the matter, isn't it? We're basically living two separate lives. There's the real one with all the messy, unfiltered human moments. And then there's the other one, the one that's perfectly polished, lit by the cold blue glow of our phones. And that gap between the two, well, that's where all the tension starts to build.
Okay, so let's get into it. This feeling isn't just in your head. It's a real psychological thing that's been studied for years. To really get what's going on, we gotta look at these two different versions of you that are constantly at war. Your real self and your ideal self. This breaks it down so perfectly. On one hand, you've got your real self. That's you, the actual you with all your weird quirks, your good days, your bad days. Then, on the other hand, there's this ideal self, this Frankenstein's monster of a person, stitched together from everyone else's highlight reels, that social media screams at you that you should be.
And you know that stressful, anxious feeling you get from that gap? It actually has a name. Incongruence. It's a term from the psychologist Carl Rogers, and it's the perfect word for that awful tension you feel when the person you are and the person you think you're supposed to be are just pulling you in two different directions. And look, this isn't some minor inconvenience. This internal battle has real damaging consequences. Study after study links this feeling of incongruence to a serious rise in anxiety, depression, and this constant nagging sense that you're just not good enough. You end up chasing this digital ghost of yourself, and it is absolutely exhausting. And the fallout can get really serious. Research shows that for a lot of people, especially younger folks, that pressure to close the gap between the real and the ideal becomes so intense that it can push them toward truly harmful behaviors, all just to try and make their real life look like the filtered perfection they see on a screen.
But it's not just this feeling of being less than that keeps us glued to our phones. Oh no, there is a powerful biological reason why it feels almost impossible to just put the thing down. And it has nothing to do with willpower. It's all by design. Now listen to this. This isn't some outside critic. This is coming from a former vice president at Facebook. He's talking about dopamine. You know, that reward chemical in your brain? Every single like, every share, every notification, it's a tiny little dopamine hit. It's designed to be unpredictable, just like a slot machine, to keep you pulling that lever, scrolling and scrolling, hoping for another reward. And let's be crystal clear, this was not an accident. Facebook's very first president, Sean Parker, he admitted it flat out. He said the guys who created these platforms knew they were tapping into a vulnerability in human psychology. And in his own words, they did it anyway. They literally built addiction into the system from the ground up.
But it goes even deeper than brain chemistry. This addiction is also physical, and it starts with the light itself, that cold blue light coming out of our screens. It's not just lighting up your face in the dark, it's sending a powerful signal straight into your brain. Just look at this number. It's insane. Research found that just 2 hours of staring at a tablet in the evening can cut your body's production of melatonin by more than half. That's the hormone that tells your body, hey, it's nighttime, go to sleep. A 55% drop. That's a massive disruption. So here's basically what happens. That blue light hits these special cells in your eyes. Those cells then shoot a signal to your brain's master clock, basically screaming, wake up, it's daytime. Your brain gets confused and slams the brakes on melatonin production. And just like that, your body's entire 24-hour clock gets thrown completely out of whack.
And the price we pay for that messed up sleep is huge. I mean, look at this. Your critical thinking takes a serious hit. Your working memory gets worse, but the real shocker is memory consolidation. That's the process of turning today's experiences into long-term memories. It drops by 50%. We are literally making ourselves less able to think, to learn, and to remember. So we've got this psychological gap making us feel bad about ourselves, and a biological disruption making it harder to think straight. So what about how we connect with each other? Well, that brings us to the great paradox of our time. We've never had more ways to connect, but so many of us have never felt more alone. This idea of being always on is practically a universal experience for younger generations. We're talking nearly 75% who feel a constant nagging urge to check their phone. It's like this low-level hum of anxiety in the background of your life, this fear of missing out that keeps you chained to the screen. MIT's Sherry Turkle just nails it with this quote. Think about it. Real relationships are messy. They're unpredictable. They require you to be vulnerable. But online connections, they give us the feeling of being close, but in a way we can completely control. We can edit our replies, delete comments, and curate every single interaction. And that's the trade-off, right? We get this huge quantity of connections, but we sacrifice the quality. We collect hundreds of friends and followers, but these relationships just don't have that real emotional depth, that genuine support that we need as human beings to actually feel good. It's the warmth of a real human connection that gets lost. I mean, this chart says it all. Look how tangled up our self-worth has become with these numbers. More than half of young people feel anxious if they can't get online. Even more need to get likes just to feel accepted. But here's the real kicker. After all that work, after all that performing, 51% still feel like no one online really knows who they are.
Okay, I know this all sounds pretty bleak. It's a lot, but it is not hopeless. We absolutely have the power to push back, to fight against these designs and take back our own reality. It's all about making a conscious choice to bridge that gap. So let's talk about how to actually do it.
This isn't just about a digital detox. It's about having an actual plan. Creating screen-free zones like the dinner table isn't just about rules. It's about choosing the warmth of a real conversation over the cold light of a screen. Turning off your notifications, that is a game changer. You are literally taking back your attention from that dopamine slot machine. Be ruthless about your feed. Make it a place that inspires you, not one that makes you feel terrible. And most important, pour time into real-life hobbies. That's the stuff that builds your real self.
And hey, if you need proof that a small change can make a huge difference, here it is. One study found that cutting social media down to just 30 minutes a day, that's it, led to a major drop in both loneliness and depression. It's just a powerful reminder that we are in control here. Look, at the end of the day, this isn't about throwing your phone in a river and moving to the woods. It's just about putting technology back in its proper place. It should be a tool that we use, not a tool that uses us. It's about carving out the space to reconnect with who you really are, away from the performance and the judgment of that digital mirror. So I'll just leave you with this one question. When the scrolling finally stops, when the notifications are all silent and you look up from that cold blue light, who are you going to be?